One of the most popular set of couplings you can use these days is the Greenwich and District Narrow Gauge Railway Society's kit couplings. They can be used on 009 or very appropriate for 7mm or other gauges of narrow gauge. This is a kit, bit of wire, pin and fret. I've already used one off this fret. I'll show you how to make it. I'm going to cut this pieces out of the fret. Just using a scalpel here because I find that's the easiest. Obviously, don't run around the house with a scalpel in your hand. And I shall clean up the edges with a piece of wet and dry. This is where we've cut it. If you build these couplings in batches, you'll find that you get quicker and faster and more accurate at doing them, and it's worth just doing little pieces and steps. So if I was building a batch of these, I would then cut the next set out and have them all ready, and then go through each process. Clean this up as well. That looks fine to me. Okay, right, the first piece we're going to do is we're going to bend the shank part here. What you need is a pair of pliers. I would tend to use the flat edge on the pliers here, and I get a nice square bend usually. In this case I'm lining them up. The pliers aren't quite square. And just quickly bending. Now that needs to be bent, that's only bent 90 degrees, that actually needs to be bent right over. So people can do this with their fingers, rather than be pliers to it, but I do it like that. And I'm just making sure that the tab's in the middle there. I like to give it a quick squeeze at the end, just completely flatten it. There we go. Now we're going to bend here, and bend this piece backwards, so we get a L shape. There you go. Square. There we go. Right, a couple more bends on here. The buffer part needs to be slightly curved. The top hook needs to be slightly curved backwards, and these two tabs need to be bent downwards. Just quickly go through those. Doesn't need much of a bend on that, just a little bit. And the top, not too much of a bend on that either. There we go. Actually, it's not quite enough on that side yet. There, it's better. So I've bent those. The hook at the top, the two side pieces. Now I'm going to do the two ringlets there. Just bend that down 90 degrees. That's good. Now the next one. Also 90 degrees. Just double check, make sure they're okay. Now what I've got to do is run a drift through there. Just to make sure I accept the pin correctly. Drift there, and then get a pin and run that through. Yeah, that's good. Right, put that to one side. And then we do the loop. Once again, a couple of quick bends on this. The first one will be there, 90 degrees. And the same on the other side. Degrees as well. That's good. Once again, I would just like to make sure they're parallel. Doesn't look like it is at the moment. No, the pin doesn't go through there at all. It's very stiff. So just a quick tweak to make sure this tab and this tab are parallel together. At the moment they're sloping in, so the pin's not going through very well. So I can quite let go square enough. I'm just going to tweak that round that way, and down a bit, it's not 90 degrees, and probably the same the other side as well. That looks better. The pin's going through, it's not rotating particularly well, so I'll just run the drift through that again. This drift needle's watchmaker's item. You can pick them up at the tool stands at most shows. It just opens out the hole very, very slightly. There's two types. This is a round type. You can use a square type as well, which does a much more cutting action. Yeah, that's much better. Right, that comes the really fiddly bit, or the bit I find difficult. I know other people don't, but let's join the two parts up. The loop sits over the top of the crossbar, and then you put the pin through. If the two tabs on the loop are too tight, you won't be able to get over the top, so just a case of just tweaking them back a bit. And inserting the pin all the way through all four holes. There we go. Nice and loose. Right, now the pin. I tend to get my pliers in as tight as possible. The pin pushed through. I'm going to get my second pair of pliers. Just give that a sharp bend to 90 degrees or thereabouts. Right, that'll now need to be cut off. I'm using X-Acto rail cutters, and mind you are wearing safety glasses when you do this. A sharp needle point is going to go flying somewhere. Okay, so there we have one working coupling. And all we need to do now is wrap the wire around this bottom part so that we can use magnetic couplings, or magnetic uncoupling devices. So this is iron wire. It's quite thin. It's just a case of wrapping this around about 8-10 turns. Around the end part. Keeping it nice and tight. There's a nice big lump of iron there for the magnet to act on. Just going to snip the wire parts off. Don't need. Might want to drop a piece of glue on there as well, just to cement that on there. And the last piece, to get that working properly, is that we need to just bend that underneath. At 90 degrees. Thereabouts, so it clears the track. That's it. On the Greenwich coupling. tab at the back is used for fixing onto your rolling stock. That can be bent into shapes, like underneath the buffer, or can be glued underneath wagons, etc.